It has gained a ton of national attention, and soon the debate will be all over the airwaves and in your mailbox, with California voters in November set to decide on Proposition 40, what would be the nation's first billionaire wealth tax, a 5% one-time levy on not just billionaire money, but what they possess, on money that the person would have if he or she sold everything, their stocks, bonds, cars, artwork. The funds raised from Prop 40 would go into health care for the most part, backfill hospital budgets that are facing severe reductions as a result of cuts from President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. The man behind the wealth tax is Dave Regan, president of SEIU, United Healthcare West, with an estimated 120,000 members. Thank you very much for coming. You were the big deal in this election cycle because of how the ramifications of this and how controversial it is. First question, I'll let you have a free shot at it. Why is this on the ballot? Why do you think people should vote for it?
It's on the ballot because we're trying to solve a problem, which is literally to stop California's healthcare system from having a collapse. 3.5 million people will lose their health insurance coverage. Over 20 million consumers, including us, will pay higher premiums, deductibles, and copays. Continue to do so. Hospitals will close, community clinics will close, and the state has blown a $25 billion a year hole into the state budget. Voting for Proposition 40 restores all of that. This is the only solution on the table. 250 billionaires or millions of us facing a completely destabilized healthcare system.
So how would it work? Would somebody from the government go into Mark Zuckerberg's house and say, okay, I know your stocks, but let's see your artwork. Let's see your jewelry. I want to go into the garage. Let's see what the cars are worth.
So 70% of billionaire wealth, 250 billionaires in California today, 70% of the $2.5 trillion they have in wealth is in publicly traded stocks and bonds. The rest of it is in other investment vehicles, and a tiny little bit is in artwork and that kind of thing. And there's actually a significant deduction for that.
Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, is opposed because it's very straightforward that billionaires have the capacity of leaving the state, and that he contends it's already happening. Larry Page, Sergey Brin, co-founders of Google, they're in Florida. Mark Zuckerberg, Meta, in Florida. Travis Kalanick, formerly of Uber, he's in Austin. Don Henke, a big auto lender billionaire, he's in Las Vegas. Steven Spielberg has left. That once they take their billions out of the state, then there's going to be an initial surge of revenue for your ballot measure, but there's going to be long-term damage to the health of the state economy and the state budget because these billionaires pay a lot in taxes.
Billionaires pay 2.5% of the overall taxes in California. If every single one of them left, that's what we would lose. But as you just said, $100 billion is what this will yield, and it would take 75 years to hit the break-even point. Secondly, all of those names that you just listed, maybe they left, maybe they didn't, but they were all legal residents for the state of California as of January 1 of this year. The reason we made it a one-time tax was so there would be no incentive to leave California. All of those individuals were legal residents and will have to pay. So that's a red herring. And the other thing is billionaires pay a lower effective tax rate than you and I do. The 250 billionaires in California, $2.4 trillion in wealth, that is equivalent to the adjusted gross income of all other Californians put together. And we're paying between 30 and 40% effective tax rates. The billionaires are paying less than 2% effective tax rate. So what we're really trying to do is bring a little bit of equity, and there is no question that the rest of us are bearing the freight. It's just not accurate that billionaires pay a lot of taxes. They don't.
Okay, let's debate that.
Sure.
This is from the Franchise Tax Board.
Yep.
I just got it today. So it says in 2024, the last year they have money, or the records for this, the top 1% of wage earners in the state paid 40.22% of all taxes.
Right.
The top 1% of the 1%, the billionaires you're after, paid 20.52%. That's one out of every $5. Now, we depend on capital gains a lot in this state, and that comes from rich people. It's why they say that when Wall Street sneezes, we catch a cold. You dispute all of that?
So, yes, and here's why. The billionaires are not the top 1% of the 1%. The billionaires are the top 0.0001% of the 1%. They pay 2.5% of all taxes in California. It is true that the top 1% pays the number that you listed. The billionaires are so far away from that that income taxes, capital gains taxes, all of the ordinary income that our system is based on is irrelevant to them. Their wealth is in financial assets, and it is functionally beyond the reach of our current tax system. It is simply not true that billionaires pay a lot of taxes. We're talking about 250 people. The top 1% is hundreds of thousands of filers, and we're not coming close to that.
If that's true, though, why does the California Teachers Association oppose this? Why do the building and construction trades oppose this? Why does Planned Parenthood oppose this?
You'd have to talk to those folks. Here's what we know, though. 63% of professional educators, teachers, are for this. The patients and the people who rely on Planned Parenthood are for this. 80% of registered Democrats are for Prop 40, 70% of union members are for Prop 40, and 63% of teachers are for Prop 40.
Dave Regan is the man behind Proposition 40. He's with the president of SEIU, United Healthcare West. We'll have a few more questions when we return.